All right, it's good. All right, so I am here to commentate our top four match between the top cuts Michael Pramawat. He is playing a Darkrai Garbodor deck, and you guys got to see Ross. We've been streaming Ross several times throughout the event, and you guys know what he's playing. He's been playing Blastoise for a really long time and has had a lot of success with it. So I hope to have a good series here. As far as I can tell, this matchup is generally very close. I don't actually know how many Tool Scrapper Ross is playing, but anywhere between one and two can make things very difficult for Michael. But if Ross only plays one or none, things could go Michael's way. But generally, how things go is Ross wants to evolve. Ross wants to get his Blastoise in play before Pramawat has his Garbodor and a tool attached to turn Garbotoxin online, preventing Blastoise's deluge ability. And at that point, um, when Ross can only manually attach Black Kyurem, which requires 4 energies and discards 3 to do its Black Ballista attack, is just largely inefficient against Pramawat's Pokemon. So we're getting set up here, and I'll do my best to commentate. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope we have a good match here, and I'll try to keep you guys updated on Santiago, or otherwise known as Twitchy, and Dylan Bryan's top 4 match. So hopefully people will bring me updates as that comes on. But here we go. It looks like Ross has a mulligan, and I didn't see who won the flip. I don't know if that dice on Michael's deck denotes the one mulligan, or if he's going first, or both. So we'll see what we do. And okay, so I'm seeing in the chat that Ross is playing computer search, so that's another factor. I see a lot of Blastoise, myself included, always play a dowsing machine, which is gives you a lot of options, particularly the ability to use your one or two tool scrappers a second or even third time. So, but apparently he plays computer search, so that means the number of times he will be able to play tool scrapper will strictly depend on the amount he plays, or maybe even less if he's unfortunate and has to Juniper one or two of the cards before he even plays. So, here we go. Looks like Ross has a basic this time. Michael takes his mulligan. And it looks like Ross ended up winning the flip. So we'll see what he does. The first thing Ross is going to want to do, he's probably going to want to get one, or if he's lucky, definitely two Squirtle into play, because it's a Blastoise deck, so naturally getting Blastoise into play should be your biggest priority almost in any matchup, but it's definitely what Ross is looking to do here. And we all know Ross. We all have love or hate him. We know him for the speed that he plays at, so looks like we've got an Ultra Ball here coming. Let's see what Ross discards. It looks like he's Ultra Balling away. I can't tell. Maybe a Juniper and an N? I really can't tell. But two cards, none of them energy, none of them Pokemon. So this Ultra Ball will almost assuredly go get a Squirtle. But, I mean, we saw a game yesterday on stream where our friend Omar prized all of his Squirtle. So maybe Ross will have some bad luck. We'll see here. Ross, I believe, has Black Kyurem active. But, again, I can't really tell. I'm pretty sure it's Black Kyurem EX, though. And Michael has your preferred starter for the deck, a Sableye. And since he's going second, he'll be able to Junk Hunt on his first turn. And it's definitely something that, I mean, while Pram would have wanted to go first, Junk Hunting on your first turn is very good as well. So, and there we see it. We see the Squirtle coming down. And Ross is going to perhaps look through his deck a little bit longer, try to figure out what's in his prizes, what cards he has available to him in his deck. Here comes a Tropical Beach. And he's just going to play it. Going to use Tropical Beach to end his turn. And so what I'm thinking here is I believe Ross discarded a supporter, a Juniper, with his Ultra Ball and played the beach. So what I'm thinking is he might just be sitting on the Rare Candy Blastoise already. So in which case, if that's the case, or if I'm reading things right, Pramawat definitely wants to play an end this turn to shuffle that out of his hand. But we have an early Ultra Ball, When first turn Ultra Ball from Pram, and this is will probably be getting the Trubbish, but since he discarded a Dark Energy, he might also want to get a Darkrai if he's sitting on the Dark Patch or something like that. But let's see. Probably taking a few seconds to try to figure out what's in his deck and what's not. There we see it. Like the Trubbish comes down. Both players looking to have pretty decent starts. Pramel probably wants to play a supporter here. Unlike Ross, he's not really doesn't have the luxury of just path beaching. And there we have it. So we have the N. So that'll cut a card from Ross's hand. So after a Tropical Beach to fill your hand to 7 and a draw for turn, Ross would have been sitting at 8 cards. So after the N and a draw, he'll have 7. So he will be missing a card. Yes, Dragonite is still in it. The other top 4 match is Dylan Bryan playing his Dragonite deck versus Santiago Rodriguez playing Rayquaza Emboar. And I will try to keep you guys updated on that series if people come and talk to me, but otherwise, we'll see. Both players take their 6. Pramawat is probably looking for a couple of options. He definitely wants the Dark Energy, but other cards that would really help him out would be a Darkrai, some Dark Patches. Maybe I know he plays an Absol. All of those cards would be very good for him. But I see a Sableye in his hand, a Catcher, a Silver Mirror, which won't do him any good this matchup. If Ross, I assume, doesn't play Catcher, so to a certain point he can just put a Silver Mirror on the Garbodor to turn Garbotoxin online. Whereas Jeremy, he's doing pack wars or something with a group of people. I don't know. He's over there somewhere. But it looks like Michael actually missed the energy this turn, so he will not be able to junk hunt, and that's not very good. Because had he been able to junk hunt, he would have been able to grab an Ultra Ball, and with the Ultra Ball, he would have been able to get the Garbodor from his deck next turn to have a turn 2 Garbotoxin. But he has a Dowsing Machine in his hand, so perhaps he can make something work with that next turn. Let's see what Ross ends up doing. Oh, well, I'm mistaken. I hadn't heard. I haven't really seen Ross's deck, but apparently he does play catcher, so that's my mistake. We will see it. If he plays catcher, we'll just have to see if it can do work. If he flips tails, then oh, so a black Kyurem comes down, the non-EX. A water 2 is active, and then he plays an N. So yeah, right here. I mean, Ross is still looking for about the same cards. He really wants Rare Candy Blastoise. He's attached an energy this turn, so unless he gets a Keldeo EX with a lot of waters, or perhaps 2 more waters and he can use Slash. But either way, he really wants Blastoise out this turn. So let's see what happens here. I have a pretty good view of Pram's hand at most times, but I cannot see a single card in Ross's hand, so we'll just have to keep guessing on what he's playing with. Oh, there we have it. We have the turn 2 Blastoise from Ross. It's very good. Unfortunately, if he doesn't have the energies to go with it, he really won't be able to capitalize on it. And if Pramawat is able to evolve his Trubbish into Garbodor, then it'll effectively just be a bench setter until we see Ross's Tool Scrappers come into play. And it looks like that's all he has. Is the Black Kyurem EX takes a few more damage from poison, and Ross ends his turn with Tropical Beach. So let's see what Pramawat is up to this turn. There we have it, a turn 2 Garbotoxin. Both players having very good starts. 2 Darkrais come down, the Dark Patch to a Darkrai. Energy on the active, so we will be seeing a Junk Hunt this turn and a Bicycle for 3. And then at this point, Pram is just needs to get more energy in play. He wants to set up multiple Darkrais to try to deal with the turns that Ross is able to use Deluge. So when Ross, at some point, will be playing a Tool Scrapper, and at that point, Blastoise and Keldeo will be able to use their abilities again. So let's see what happens. We keep seeing these ends. Both players aren't being able to get very comfortable with their hands and just getting new ones every turn. So it's annoying, but sometimes it can really help you out. I'm sure all of us have had those games where you have an N and man, there's nothing else, or your hand is complete garbage and your opponent ends you and you're just suddenly back in a game you had no business playing in. So let's see what happens. Let's see. Looks like Pram drew some Ultra Balls and some Dark Energies, another Dark Patch, so surely he'll probably play that Dark Patch again, maybe get another Trubbish out since I believe Rosh is playing Pokemon Catcher. So getting a second Trubbish out is probably needed in the um, if one of the Garbodors gets captured, he can't just uh, have free reign on his abilities until Pramawat has to evolve another Garbodor. So the second Trubbish is probably what he's looking for here. I believe Michael only plays like a 2-2 Garbodor, so if it's prized, things could be bad. And um, I could be wrong, but it might be prized. So we're seeing an Absol come down here. Absol is very good in this matchup because more often than not, the Blastoise player is going to have several Pokemon, 4 to 5 on their bench, one or two Black Kyurem, a Blastoise, a Squirtle, a Keldeo, something like that. So Absol is going to be able to do a lot of damage. And it's a non-EX, so that always makes the prize exchange very awkward for the Blastoise player. Blastoise is looking to just kill or knock out 3 Darkrai's with Black Ballistas, but they're not able to do that. Things can go. And he doesn't bench the Absol. He just Ultra Balls for it, probably to thin his deck, and he Junk Hunts for another Laser and a Dark Patch. So we see that Darkrai on his bench with 2 energy. So if Michael's feeling safe, I'm sure he will try to Night Spear next turn to start trying to knock out the active Kyurem and start building up lots of bench damage. But it all depends on what Ross has and the kinds of reads that Pramawat has on Ross. So we'll just have to wait. This series will probably be very long. It's a long and difficult matchup. So if we go to a game 3 or even a game 2 and it goes to time, I won't be surprised at all. Both these players are very good, but it's a very long matchup, and we all know that Ross is a very skilled and methodical player. So none of his moves are going to be fast. So we'll see what he has. We see a computer search here after attaching a lightning. So again, I can't see his hand, but likely if he needs a supporter or maybe even the tool scrapper this turn. We'll see what he wants to get with the tool scrapper. There's lots of things he wants from his deck, and computer search it's that card. It just gets you any card you want. And we see another rare candy and a Juniper get discarded. So he probably doesn't want a supporter. He probably has one of those in his hand if he's willing to discard the Juniper. But we'll just see what he wants to get. Hmm. So he looks like he grabbed his card. Yeah, there we have it. He probably tool scrappered. Computer search for the tool scrapper, and then we see a Juniper discarding a Superior, Energy Retrieval, and an N. And right here, I think Ross is in a very good position if he gets a way to get a Keldeo and more energy. You definitely do not want to use Black Ballista on the Sableye. And just using Black Kyurem's first attack, Slash, really amounts to nothing. So, I mean, you could Slash twice, but at that point, like, it just doesn't seem worth it to me. So let's see what he has. We see another water. So there's 3 waters, a fourth one, a fifth one. Oh man, looks like Ross is actually going to want to go for the Black Ballista this turn. Let's see it though. He decides to do it, so he's going to discard 3 energies in order to take 1 prize. So I don't know if that's something he would do normally, but perhaps Ross, after searching his deck, saw that several, or maybe 1 or 2 very important cards were prized. So taking fast prizes is something he wants to do in order to maybe take a Keldeo or another Squirtle or his other Black Kyurem out of prizes. Something like that could be in play, or maybe he really just wants to take prizes. But I'm sure Ross knows what he's doing, so let's see what happens here. See a Dark Patch to a Sableye. Still no Tool on the Garbodor. Tails on a Laser. So Michael really wants to hit another Tool. There we have it, a Dark Claw. So that's something interesting. In the past with the Darkrai Garbodor decks, you really had to play Flowstone because your opponent could just capture it up and you needed a way to free retreat it. So you really couldn't devote any other tools to the Pokemon so Garbotoxin could turn on. But now that Pokemon Catcher is on a flip and fewer people play it in their deck, you get to do silly things like put a Dark Claw on Garbodor, put your Silver Mirror on Garbodor, stuff like that. So it's good, but since Ross plays Catcher, if Ross is able to capture Michael's Garbodor up, and Michael might have it stuck active for several turns. So that's one of the downsides to not having a float stone on it. But turning the Garbotoxin on is very good, and we'll see how Pramawat wants to end up dealing with this. So Pram is gonna looks like he's gonna Junk Hunt once again here. Dowsing Machine comes down, discards his Silver Mirror and another Dark Energy. I don't know what he wants to grab with that. An N. He wants to grab an N. So Dark Patch. See energy on the Absol. Absol's not. Ross doesn't have too many Pokemon in his bench right now, so Absol, it's not doing a lot, but perhaps in a few turns we'll see a lot of another Squirtle, a Keldeo, another Kyurem, something like that could all come down on Ross's bench to make Absol do 120 or even more if you want to factor in another Dark Claw or a Hypnotoxic Laser and things like that. So, yes, the other top four is Santiago Rodriguez with Rayquaza Emboar and Dylan Bryan with Dragonite and a bunch of friends. So we see a Junk Hunt. Ross keeps taking poison damage, but unfortunately, Pramawat has not been able to find a Burbank City Gym to replace the Tropical Beach, and so there's not a whole lot of damage has added up yet to the Black Kyurem. We'll see what happens here. With one energy attachment, he'll be able to use Slash to do 60 to the Sableye, but we'll just see what he has. I know we saw Ross discard one superior energy retrieval early on, and that's something you're always wanting to avoid doing. You really need to save those and use them as opportunely as possible. But certainly Ross has a lot of energies left in his deck and a lot of options. But looks like he's taking his time with this play, and we'll see what he does. I don't know if Ross plays two Tool Scrappers. I would imagine he does, but with only one more opportunity to use Tool Scrapper, and only taking one prize, he's got to be very careful with it again. Because since he doesn't play Dowsing Machine, he played Computer Search. So the next time he plays Tool Scrapper might be the last time. So if Pramawat is able to Junk Hunt again and get tools, he'll be able to stop Blastoise from using its abilities for the rest of the game. And that's not something Ross wants to deal with, and definitely what Michael would want to do. So let's see. We see a Skyla come down from Ross, and the Tropical Beach is still in play. So for a heavy ball. So Ross is skyling for a heavy ball. And so that's probably going to grab another Black Kyurem EX, and there we see it. Another Black Kyurem, so he wants to start trying to power up another attacker. I don't know, maybe Ross has some Keldeo's prized, or maybe he doesn't want to have a Keldeo on his bench because of its 170 HP, and it just, when it gets Night Spirit and Dark Claw and Laser, all those numbers add up pretty perfectly to make for easy knockouts with Darkrai's Night Spear. So we just see it come down, no energy attachment, nothing else, and he takes more damage from poison and uses Tropical Beach to end his turn. So definitely, if you're Pramawat right now, definitely what you want to do is, it's probably time to Night Spear, but you really want to find your Burbank City Gym, because if you do, you will be able to do 90 to the active, and then with Burbank, the laser damage, or the poison damage from Hypnotoxic Laser will end up knocking it out in between turns. So that would be a very good move. But at the same time, you definitely want to be a little hesitant, because if he plays a Tool Scrapper, he'll be able to power up that second Black Kyurem and knock out the Darkrai and most of Michael's energies. So let's see. Let's see what happens. We see the N come down. I believe that is the N that Michael used his Dowsing Machine for last turn. I'm not sure why he grabbed that. Just needed a supporter and figured I'd rather have an N than a Juniper or a Bicycle or something like that. So it's definitely good. Dowsing Machine, particularly with Sableye, effectively means you never run out of supporters, since you can just Dowsing Machine for a supporter every turn and Junk Hunt for your Dowsing Machine every turn. So all of those things add up. When we see a catcher in Michael's hand, that would probably be very good right now, because we don't see any Keldeos on his bench, so and we don't know how many Tool Scrapper Ross plays or when he would need to use it, but a Blastoise stuck active would definitely buy Michael a lot of turns to start setting up other Night Spears to junk hunt for all those good cards, those good item cards that he would need. And nope, we don't see, he misses the Verbank again, and we see a Night Spear come down. So Ross is, if he's able to Black Ballista this turn and play another Tool Scrapper, he's in a very good position. But again, that will be his second Tool Scrapper, and Michael might just be able to get another tool on Garbodor and say, "All right, Blastoise, you've done enough this game. I don't think you're going to be able to use it anymore." But I mean, in the event that Ross plays more, maybe even three, or Tool Scrapper, things get really weird. But part of me doesn't think he plays that many Tool Scrapper, but I was wrong about him playing Pokemon Catcher, so I could definitely be wrong about that. But we'll have to see. We see an Ultra Ball, and there's a Keldeo EX come down. And we see it go to the bench, and a Colress. Colress is going to net Ross 8 cards right now. So, again, if he plays another Tool Scrapper, he's definitely looking for that, but he also needs energies and a superior energy retrieval to go behind that as well. So let's see what happens. If Ross is unable to take a knockout this turn, I would say that Pram is in a very good position, particularly with that catcher sitting in his hand. And Absol is a non-EX that's sitting there. He sees the Keldeo come down, and he's going to do 20 more damage with its first attack. But let's see. Ross draws his hand. Let's see what he has. I see a water energy, but I really have no idea what is in his hand. I think Ross attaches an energy to Black Kyurem and is going to use Slash. So while that may seem like not very much damage, um, it'll let a Keldeo X potentially come in with 4 energies and use Secret Sword for 130. So that could definitely be something that Ross is looking to do in the event he gets his other Tool Scrapper, or plays another Tool Scrapper, and gets to use Deluge again. But since that Darkrai stayed alive, it gives Michael even more time to get more energy on the board. He attaches another energy. I wonder if this means he's going to retreat and junk hunt. Yes, that's exactly what he's going to do. So, if he has the Verbank, if he has the Verbank Gym in his hand, I believe Poison will knock out the Kyurem in between turns. But definitely junk hunting seems like a safe thing to do right now. But doesn't looks like he still does not have his Verbank City Gym. So, I think we're just going to see another junk hunt out of Pram. Let's see what happens here. All right, looks like another junk hunt. Uh, Bicycle and Floatstone. So the Floatstone is definitely it looks like I misread the damage. I'm sorry. So the Black Kyurem EX does end up dying of poison in between turns, and Michael gets a Tool and a Bicycle. The Bicycle will help him draw cards later in the game. It's definitely something you would want to draw if you were end low and didn't have anything else. And the Floatstone is just to make sure that Pram has plenty of tools in his deck, so he is able to reattach them to the Garbodor or another Trubbish if the Garbodor gets knocked out from a catcher, or the Darkrai is Tool Scrappered off it and turning off the Garbotoxin ability. So Ross promotes his non-EX Black Kyurem, plays a regular energy retrieval, gets back 2 water energy. Let's see what he does with these. Alright, we see a manual attach the water to the Keldeo. So it looks like Ross still does not have another Tool Scrapper to deal with Garbotoxin. So, looks like, let's see, what does he want to do here? Looks like he's eyeing a Skyla in his hand. He might have too many cards in his hand to use Tropical Beam. So there we see it. We see a Skyla. For some reason, he might only play 1 Tool Scrapper. I'm really not sure. Something, it must be prized, or he He just can't get it. But we see a Skyla for an N. So Ross is getting using his a supporter card to make sure he has another supporter card for next turn. But other than that, all we saw was an attach. So Ross is definitely struggling against the Garbotoxin, but the game is definitely far from over. Lots of prizes still need to be taken in order for this game to finish. See a Pokemon catcher on a heads. Definitely what Pram was looking for. Finally finds the Verbank. Plays another laser, gets heads, puts the Blastoise to sleep. Let's see. I see him. I'm not sure. He can watch from there, I guess. So this is game one. We're still in game one right now. I'm not sure if Pram is going to want to try to take the lead, take a further advantage and start Night Spear, or maybe just Junk Hunt again and Night Spear next turn when the Blastoise has enough damage on it to be knocked out. That would definitely be very scary for Ross. So let's see what happens. See another Junk Hunt. I saw a catcher. I'm not sure what the other card. It might have been a bicycle or a dark patch. I couldn't really tell. So Ross draws his card. We know he Skylit for N last turn. So unless he got an interesting top deck, the N is probably going to see play. But let's see what ends up happening here. Ross attaches an energy, another water to his Keldeo, building up for some sort of secret sword at some point, and there's the N. I can't remember how many ends Ross has played. I want to say maybe two or three, and I've lost count since Pram played one or two to three, and then used a dowsing machine for one. So there's really no way to know. But definitely Ross may be running out of ends at this point, which means his ability to just kind of like lock Pram out of the game with an end to one. He may be the more ends he plays, the less opportunities he has to do that. So we see Pram get end into Dowsing Machine, Dark Claw, and other things, but definitely not the worst hand. Pretty good hand off an end of four, and Ross doesn't even have the Trouble Beat in play anymore, so unless he hits like a lot of cards off this end, I'm really not sure what he's going to do. If he has to pass with the Blastoise active again, things definitely are going to be looking down because the Blastoise will be knocked out and Ross will just be sitting with a bunch of Pokemon, no Squirtle, and only 2 energy on the board. So it's definitely not a position that Ross wants to be in. Hmm. Oh, and there we see it. There it is. It's the second Tool Scrapper. So let's see what that amounts to. Probably a Russian from Keldeo and a Secret Sword. But let's see what happens. I think I saw another water in Ross's hand. Maybe a superior energy retrieval based on the way he's looking at those cards. I think he's like laid down 3 cards, so he might be thinking about what he wants to discard to get a bunch of energy back. So there it is. He discards a Squirtle and a Blastoise. So 4 water and a lightning. Probably going to come down. We're probably going to see one of those waters get put on the Keldeo and the rest get put on the Black Kyurem. The Keldeo is going to want to rush in and use Secret Sword. Oh no, no, I take that back. He's going for the big Keldeo strategy. So Keldeo it's pretty underrated. Sometimes forget how much damage it can actually do. So with 7 energy, he'll be able to be one-shotting Darkrai, and with, let's see, I think that's 5 or 6 energy. Pram promotes the Darkrai. We know that he drew into Dowsing Machine. Oh, but he doesn't even need to use it. He just has the Float Stone right now. So see a Dark Claw in his hand as well. So that that's likely Ross's last Tool Scrapper, so that may be the last ability that rush in and those delusions. Those might be the last abilities we see out of Ross's game. So we see a bicycle for a couple of cards. And Pram is still missing an energy to Night Sphere. Nope, there it is. There's a Dark Patch. So that Darkrai with the Dark Claw is going to come in and do 140 damage. So with the Dark Claw, the Burbank City Gym, and the Hypnotoxic Laser all being used, and the Keldeo with 170 is going to only have 30 remaining, and Ross is going to get a put, or Michael is going to get a put 30 more damage for one of the bench Pokemon. And he actually got a heads on the laser. So if that Keldeo stays asleep, it's just going to die going in between turns, and that's definitely not what Ross wants to see. Ross needs to wake up and retreat, and I just don't know what he needs to do. If he doesn't play another Tool Scrapper, I think Michael might just have this game. But if he plays a third or even a fourth, things definitely could be interesting. It's definitely not over, but we'll just have to see what happens. Oh, let's see. It looks like I think Ross is just conceding the game. He knows he can't win. He knows that we're only playing, I believe, a 60-minute top cut. So he wants to conserve time for the rest of the series. So that's great. We see Michael Pramawat take game one, but the series is definitely not over yet. I hope we have two more good games to give you, but shuffling up, if you're Ross, you're probably trying to think of what went wrong that game, and if had things gone differently, how you would have won it. And I'm not really sure. That game to me seemed like the matchup played out how it usually does, and so the conditions where Blastoise wins this matchup usually involve like a turn two Secret Sword or a turn two Black Ballista. So the Squirtle on your first turn and evolving into Blastoise with a bunch of energies on your second turn. All those things Ross is definitely wanting to do this turn. So he gets to choose if he wants to go first or second. And of course, he's going to choose to go first. And he's going to want to do the old 1-2 with a Squirtle or two in play, the Tropical Beach to fill his hand, and maybe an energy or two. But it's a very difficult matchup for Ross, but it's definitely not unwinnable. Things will have to go his way. Michael's gonna have to whiff the Garbotoxin, whiff getting a Trubbish into play. Just all these little things add up and make it very difficult for the water Pokemon to do their job. So I'm not sure how long that took, but there's definitely enough time to play a full second game, but then the third game might be really rushed. And so since we're in Top Cut, there's no ties anymore. So those old rules apply where uh, whoever has taken the most prizes wins, or you go into a sudden death, and whoever takes the first prize ends up winning. However, the rules in 2 out of 3 in Top Cut, um, Ross needs to take 4 prizes for this game to count. So if this game just goes long and he's not able to take 4 prizes before time is called, Michael just gets to take the series. So you see a handshake from both of them, and I bet Ross chose to go first, and they're looking at their hands right now and trying to find their basics. So Dylan and Santiago are still playing. I'm not sure what game. Hopefully someone will inform me about that at some point. But we know that Michael Pramawat playing Darkrai Garbodor. Um, won the first game here against Ross Cawthon's Blastoise, Keldeo EX, Black Kyurem deck. So, uh, the camera seems to be doing weird things. I have no idea what that is, but hopefully that stops. There might be some foot tapping. Let's see. Looks like Pram had a mulligan, drawing a new hand to try to find a basic Pokemon this time. I see some chatter going on in the Twitch chat talking about the playmats, and I think there's really no debate on which mat is better. I think we here at On the Bubble strongly prefer On the Bubble and Jimmy Ballard's Top Cut Central sponsorship. But Kurt in the Top Cut is pretty all right, I guess. We'll see a lot of people with those mats in the future. But you guys can bicker amongst yourself which one you think is actually the best mat. So it looks like Pram is actually mulliganing again. So that's definitely good for Ross. He's going to start with an even bigger hand, and since he's going first, he doesn't have to worry about Pram playing an N and just like negating those extra cards he gets. So let's see what happens here. He's got a basic, and Ross is going to take his 2 mulligan cards. And a Keldeo versus a Sableye. Ross takes his mulligans and draws for a turn. And let's get this game going. Ross is gonna definitely want the Squirtle, another Kyurem, some waters. A lot of things need to go his way. So let's see what happens. Looks like Ross has, considering a supporter, maybe an Ultra Ball. Probably an Ultra Ball, I would think. Trying to decide what cards he wants to discard. In every deck, every single card in your deck is precious. You don't want to just mindlessly discard things. Oh, looks like he has a Skyla. Thinking about what he wants to get with that Skyla. Maybe he was thinking about what he would discard with the Ultra Ball that he gets. We'll see. Maybe a Level Ball. Lots of things. Lots of things depending on Ross's hand. The Skyla is a very good card. It searches your deck. You get to put one trainer card, or one trainer card in your hand. So that includes supporters, and basically it's able to get almost anything in the deck. So other than, I mean, Pokemon or energy, but there are trainer cards out there that can get Pokemon or energy that Skyla can get. So like effectively, Skyla can really search for almost anything. That's why it's such a good card. We see like four of it in almost every deck. Uh, Michael Pramawat, of course, is not playing any. He's just playing bikes and random receivers and ends and junipers, and that's pretty typical of Darkrai decks. But almost every other deck plays two or more Skyla. So we'll just see what he's considering here. I would think he wants to get an Ultra Ball or a Level Ball for a Squirtle, but if he has some combination or one or two of those cards in his hand already, he will definitely be looking for something like Tropical Beach, or basically it's just like a puzzle. And the puzzle is that you want to get like Squirtle, an Energy, Tropical Beach, another Squirtle, all on the first turn. And so you want to fish out, fetch the piece that you're missing. So it looks like it's a Squirtle this time. We see Ross discard a Water Energy and I think a rare candy. So we'll see what happens. Something very interesting about Ross that I've noticed over the few years that I've been playing is he seems to always play uh, so many different energies. Like it's one thing to like mismatch your EXs, but Ross I think plays with like none of the same energies. Each energy is a different artwork, and that's very interesting. I'm not entirely sure why it does that, but I think it's unique. It's interesting. It's definitely like a Ross specialty. So we don't see an energy come down or a tropical beach. We see the Squirtle and the Kyurem, and we pass to Michael, who is going second once again, which will mean he will get to use Junk Hunt on his first turn, and that's definitely one of the advantages that the Darkrai deck has is that if it goes first, sure, that's good. I'll try to Dark Patch to a Darkrai, get some energy on the board, get my Trubbish and all of that. But if I don't, if I get to go second, then I get to use Junk Hunt. That's what I wanted to do anyways. So it's one of those decks that's perhaps a bit more comfortable with going second than say something like Genesect, where if you go second, you just all I get to do on my first turn is attach an energy. So that's all I got. But anyways, he's playing an Energy Search right now. Energy Search is a very good card with Sableye. So you get to search your deck for an energy, but then in the event you junk hunt for it, you just basically have an endless access to all your energy. And then dark energy. And so I might get attached. If Michael has the Ultra Ball in his hand, it'll probably get discarded. Looks like he has an Ultra Ball and maybe another Darkness Energy, so it's definitely very good. Definitely very advantageous for the Darkrai deck as they want to get Darks in the discard to abuse their Dark Patch card. So here we have it. Probably a Trubbish. I believe he grabbed a Trubbish. Let's see it. There it is. There's a Trubbish. So after this, I'm not too sure what's in Michael's hand. I believe I saw a catcher, but he definitely wants another energy, a supporter, maybe Darkrai. I'm not sure. Ross may have had a good hand. If his hand was bad, he probably would have Skyled for a supporter, but he didn't. So, and there's a bike for two? Yes, a bike for two. Let's see what this nets, Michael. A random receiver and another bike, maybe? I'm not sure. I think Michael's hand is, um, I believe Michael's hand is Ultra Ball, uh, random receiver, random receivers for Juniper, but I think I saw an Ultra Ball and a Dark Patch in Michael's hand. So if he has the cards in his hand to play the Ultra Ball and save the supporter, he's definitely going to do that. Oh, he doesn't. He's a little shy. So he's just going to play the Ultra Ball, probably getting a Dark right here, and then just play the Juniper. And after that, still wants to find another energy so he can use Sableye's Junk Hunt. And he chooses to get a Sableye instead of a Darkrai. That's definitely good. Definitely this game involves a whole lot of junk hunting, so you're not really in a hurry to Night Spear, since it can be very dangerous until you think you've got Blastoise locked out of their ability. So using Junk Hunt several times is definitely advantageous. And then we see the Juniper. Two. Can you see one of Dylan? Can you see which one of Dylan? Does he stand up in the series? All right. So there's the Juniper, the Verbank, Laser. I'm not sure what I think of the Burbank play. I guess Michael does play Dowsing Machine, so we can definitely get them back, but usually the matchup is you kind of want to be a little conservative with your Burbanks, since Ross is surely playing 3 to 4 Tropical Beach, and winning the Stadium War is definitely a big deal in this matchup. So you want to try to save the Burbanks, but Michael's decided that the 30 damage that he's going to get on the Keldeo right now is definitely worth it. And um, Ross didn't have a beach last turn, so he's going to have to draw into it if he wants to bounce it and stop making the poison do so much damage to him in between turns. All right, so I just got updated on Dylan and Santiago's game, and it is 1-1. They're in their game three right now, but Dylan, from what I've heard, just used Deafen and took 2 prizes. So it is 4 prizes to Santiago. Dylan has 4 prizes to Santiago's 6, and has a Dragonite online using Deafen. So I don't really know how that matchup plays out. We saw Dylan win 2-0 over Raymond Cipoletti in the top 8, so he definitely knows how to play the matchup. So let's get back to this game though. Let's see. I might have missed Ross's entire turn, and if I did, I apologize. But it looks like if I missed Ross's turn, Ross might have done like, or maybe it is his turn. I missed something. Maybe he's playing an Ultra Ball. Um, yeah, I'm sorry. I was talking to Jeremy. Jeremy was filling me in on the other matchup, and I had to look away from the screen. So my apologies about that. But I believe Ross played an Ultra Ball, and there we have it. He Ultra Balled or played some sort of searching card for rare candy, and then had the Juniper coming down. So that's looking very good. No Garbotoxin yet, so Keldeo is going to be able to use Rush In, and Blastoise is going to be able to deluge all the water energies he's able to find. So it's definitely going to want to look for a lot of water energies. He wants to get rid of that Burbank City gym with his own tropical beach. Just it's so early, and we know now that Ross plays 2 Tool Scrappers, so he's definitely got to keep that in mind. Taking early prizes, so if he's able to Secret Sword this turn, he'll be at a good spot. We saw it last game that Ross actually had to use Black Ballista on a Sableye for his first prize, and that's definitely not something you want to do. But if you had to do it, it's understandable. But Secret Sword is definitely the attack you want to be using against Sableye. So we see the Tropical Beach come down, getting rid of Michael's Burbank, and let's see what happens next. I believe I saw 1 water in Ross's hand, but maybe not any other energies. So let's see what ends up happening here. There's the water. Russian with Keldeo, or a double Russian. So he wanted to Russian twice to get rid of the poison, but he did not want to put the Keldeo with the water active. So that means he didn't have energy, and yep, there it is. He's going to end his turn with Tropical Beach and give the turn back to Pram. And I see another Ultra Ball in Pram's hand. But first we have a random receiver. So there's a Garbodor, so we know that at least one of them isn't prized. And there's an N. So I believe I saw an Ultra Ball in his hand, so he's probably going to play that, discard 2 cards, and get Garbodor from his deck. And since one of his Trubbish on the bench has a Dark Claw on it, Garbotoxin will be online. And we see a Darkness and a Floatstone be discarded. And we saw the random receiver reveal Darkrai, so he's probably, not Darkrai, but Garbodor. So we're probably going to see this Ultra Ball get that. Yep, there it is. An Ultra Ball for a Garbodor. It's going to evolve the Trubbish with the Dark Claw, which will activate Garbodor's ability Garbotoxin, which, as long as there's a tool on it, no abilities can be used by either Pokemon. So notably, that shuts off Michael Pramawat's Darkrai and the Dark Cloak ability, but it's usually worth it. Shutting off Dark Cloak is not a big deal when you're also shutting off Russian and Deluge. And there's the end. We saw the random receiver grab, so Michael is probably going to spend several more turns junk hunting, at least the next one or two. So I don't think we're going to be seeing attack anytime soon. But and we know Ross has yet to play a Tool Scrapper, so that's still a big deal. But now that Garbotoxin is online, he's definitely going to be considering using one or having to map out when he needs to use them. So, oh, and then evolving into another Garbodor. Let's see what happens. Hmm. Probably just another Junk Hunt. And I think Pram's just in a really good spot. No prizes have been taken, and he's got plenty of Sableye to just keep junk hunting until Tool Scrappers are no longer an issue. And we see a junk hunt for a Dark Patch and a Hypnotoxic Laser. So wants to using Sableye while doing damage is it's just so good. So when you're able to Hypnotoxic Laser and then deal 10 or even 30, it just makes your junk hunts that much sweeter. So here's a Heavy Ball from Ross. We're now into Ross's turn. And he played a Heavy Ball and it doesn't look like he grabs anything. I wonder if that means the other Black Kyurem EXs are prized, but I would think that's probably what it means, but you never know. But it looks like he's not getting anything with it, just doesn't want to draw back into that card in case another N or he has to play a Colress. Manually attaches a Water for turn to Keldeo. And let's see. I think I see a Squirtle in his hand. Oh, but no, that's it. Just a Tropical Beach for two. I wonder if that means Ross isn't sitting on anything and he doesn't have his Tool Scrabber, he doesn't have a supporter to get it, or maybe he's just trying to set something up. Who knows? Game's far from over, but Pram is definitely looking hard to beat. See a laser come down to start building up more damage on the Keldeo. Another Dark Patch, so that Darkrai on the bench is getting ready to Night Spear whenever it wants to. Hmm. Let's see. Attaching to the Sableye, so Michael knows that the active Sableye is probably going to get knocked out at some point, and he definitely probably wants to spend most of this game junk hunting. Darkrai and this matchup really only needs to come in and like sweep when you know that Blastoise is out of Tool Scrapper and can't use their abilities. So we see another N come down. So if Ross was sitting on a bad hand or was able to Tropical Beach out of this bad hand, he's just getting a brand new hand right here. So another N to 6 for both players. The game continues. Um, I know I know Pram probably doesn't want to attack here, but you never know. He could he could start Night Spearing here and put 90 on the active and probably 30 on the other Keldeo, but we'll see what happens. I see maybe another Dark Patch, an Ultra Ball, some energy in Pram's hand. I'm not too sure. And Ross is searching through his discard. We'll see. Hmm. Looks like we have another Dark Patch. That Darkrai, a new Darkrai on the bench, just spreading all his energy out. Definitely smart. There's no reason to not spread out, especially if you don't plan on attacking for a long time. And looks like we might be seeing basically the same turn as last time, just kind of get some energy on the board and junk hunting. So let's see if he grabs the same two cards or tries to be a little different. Looks like he's eyeing Random Receiver and another Laser. So let's see. Hmm. Looks like something might be going on. Like maybe Pram has too many cards or I'm not sure. Maybe nothing's going on. Couldn't tell. Looked like there was a judge or something. But I think I'm wrong. And it looks like we are just going to see another junk hunt for Dark Patch and Random Receiver. So Keldeo EX takes another 10 in between turns and back to Ross. There it is. There's the first Tool Scrapper out of Ross. So it looks like this might be the turn. This is when Ross wants to try to capitalize on his abilities. So now that Garbotoxin is not online and the Garbodor doesn't have any tools attached, he'll be able to use Russian and Delusion. So right now, Ross is definitely wanting to get as many energy as possible. Like if he could get 5, 6, even 4, 3 energy, just really any number of energies would be really good right now. You just need to get as many in play as possible because you know at some point Garbodor is going to get another tool attached to it, which prevents you from using things. So looks like Ross played an Ultra Ball, just discarded things he didn't want to draw back into. I believe we saw him discard a Squirtle and maybe another rare candy, so I think he's running low on those. So Michael could maybe KO the Blastoise and just stop that and stop Deluge from even being a possibility, regardless of Garbodor. But he needs a lot of things to one shot or knock out the Darkrai. But abilities, he can use abilities. There's an energy retrieval. We'll get a water, two waters back, both going on to Keldeo. So he's trying to get that critical 7 energies to one shot a Darkrai. There's 6. A lightning onto the Kyurem. So there we go. There's a lot of energy. Just what I was talking about. It's what Ross needed. It's pretty scary if you're Michael. I'm not too sure what you do. Using Night Spear is probably not right here, so we're probably going to see Sableye Junk Hunt. But after that, it's really we'll just have to see what the cards give them. So we see promoting Sableye. Michael, since there's no tool on Garbodor, has Dark Cloak back, so anything with a Dark Energy has free retreat now. So he could retreat to Sableye and Night Spear if he chooses to, but I'm not too sure. Definitely, he wants to get a tool. You want a tool back on this turn, no matter what, and probably a laser. Like if you have the tool, a Hypnotoxic Laser, and Verbank City Gym, that'd probably be the best thing you could do this turn. Or maybe the tool and a catcher on Blastoise. Just I don't know. The game is far from over, but I don't know. Both positions look very good. I'm not sure if either player is thinking, "Oh no, I'm going to lose this one, aren't I?" Right now, I think both players definitely have the means to win this game. So it's very interesting, and I think this game will probably go on for quite a bit longer. We see a Dark Patch to the other Darkrai, an energy, so 2 energy on the one Darkrai, and there's the tool. So Garbotoxin is back online. No more abilities. But I think that might be it from Pram. I think that his turn might be over, and we are going to see another Junk Hunt. So I don't think he had a supporter, which means if there's another random receiver in the discard, Pramawat's probably going to want to look at that as a Junk Hunt target. Then otherwise, I'm not sure what you take. Maybe you get your Dark Claw back, since you're going to want to start Night Spearing soon. I'm not too sure on how many Sableye Michael plays, or if he plays Super Rod, but he may just play 2. So after the next Secret Sword, he might be out of Sableyes. Oh, the tongue twist. Ugh. Secret Sword, Sableyes. Anyways, we see a Junk Hunt for the Dark Claw and the Bicycle, the Laser Flip, and the Keldeo wakes up. So Ross doesn't have abilities. We know he does play at least 2 Tool Scrapper. We saw that last game, so if he's able to play another Tool Scrapper this turn, more and more energies are going to hit the field, but definitely the Sableye is going to get knocked out. Hmm. Let's see what Ross has. I see a Colress. There we have it. We're going to Colress for 7 cards, so it's a good amount of cards. And I'm not sure what you do. You're definitely going to Secret Sword the Sableye. Ugh, I need to stop saying that. So I heard Ross played catcher, so I mean I don't think we saw a catcher last game, but if he plays 1 or 2 catchers, a water energy and a catcher would be huge right now. He could start one-shotting those Darkrai's on the bench. But let's see what these 7 cards get him. 7 cards. I think I see a a black Kyurem in Ross's hand, which is interesting. So we saw him fail the heavy ball. He doesn't want to bench it, and we just see a Secret Sword. So Ross has knocked out 2 Sableye, and is down to 2 prizes. Whereas Pram has not even used an attack other than Junk Hunt yet, but this might be the time. This might be the turn that we see Night Spear. So let's see what happens. Hmm. Oh, an escape rope. That's very interesting. So the escape rope is going to force one of Ross's Pokemon active, and he chooses to send the Black Kyurem, which has 1 Lightning Energy active, and he's going to promote his Garbodor since it has free retreat thanks to Floatstone. So, again, I think Pramawat, I'm not sure if he plays Super Rod, but he may just play 2 Sableye, maybe 3. And there's a Tool Scrapper, so I believe he played an Ultra Ball. So let's see what he grabs. We saw an Absol last game, so I think he might just play 2 Sableye. But the Absol, it's not doing a ton of damage right now, but it's just a great 1 prize attacker. And Keldeo has enough energy to knock it out, but if the Black Kyurem stays active, he would be maybe having the Black Ballista, which again, Black Ballista is really only good if you're knocking out 3 EX Pokemon. Having to use it on non-EXs is always very costly and just something the Blastoise player wants to avoid, and benches the Absol and uses Bike for 3. See a catcher, an N, and something else. So the catcher is definitely big. I'm not sure if he wants to play it, since the escape rope forced Ross into an awkward position. But it's definitely the option to note. He doesn't want to play it, and he's just going to attach to the Absol and N. So I think we're going to see the Darkrai with 3 energy come up this turn in Night Spear, but it's very scary. Ross is getting N to 4, which isn't particularly low, but if he has his Tool Scrapper left and is able to knock out Darkrai this turn, things are probably looking pretty down for Pram. But we'll just have to see. Here we go. They cut each other's decks, and Ross is going to take 4, and Pram will draw 6. So let's see what happens. Yep, and there it is. Darkrai's coming up. It's going to use Night Spear for just 90 damage to the active Black Kyurem. And it's going to get to put 30 somewhere. I would imagine, yep, he's going to do 90 to the active and 30 to the Keldeo that has, I believe, 6 water energy on it. So that's it. So Ross was end of 4 and has 5 cards in his hand. Let's see. A Juniper. So that's good. Looks like he discarded a lot of cards. He discarded the Skyla, interestingly enough, so he could have used that to get the Tool Scrapper, but he was just missing the energies or the ways of getting a knockout on the active, even if you had the Tool Scrapper. So definitely if it's in his deck, he wants to draw it right now. Draw it right now with another Water Energy, who he would be able to rush in after Tool Scrappering Michael's Floatstone and do Secret Sword for 190 damage, which would knock out the Darkrai and put Michael in an even worse position. He wouldn't have, he would only be down to 3 energy, and Ross would only have 2 prizes left to take. But Ross is thinking right now, and I don't know if he has the Tool Scrapper. There's the 7th water, so we might have it. Maybe not. Tropical Beach is in play, so that's it. Tropical Beach. Didn't have the Tool Scrapper, which gives Michael another turn to Night Spear, which is really good. The active Black Kyurem is going to get knocked out after another Night Spear, and he's going to be able to put another 30 onto the Keldeo on the bench, which means that a Night Spear will knock it out as well. So that was bad. That was really bad for Ross. Ross really needed to hit the Tool Scrapper that turn. And even though he has a 2 prize lead right now, I really think that Michael might have the advantage. But we'll just have to see. There's a 3rd energy on the 2nd Darkrai. We see, I think I saw a Dark Claw, Bike, Catcher, Random Receiver, another Darkrai, all in Michael's hand. So let's see what he does. No, Dylan and Santiago are still playing right now. Hopefully someone will come tell me when it's over, but they're definitely still in the midst of Game 3 right now. And nope, just a Night Spear from Michael to end the turn, putting the Keldeo up to 90 damage. So, what could end up happening here is the another Black Keldeo could come down, and so Black Kyurem, excuse me, could come down. And Keldeo EX is going to knock out Darkrai, and then in like one turn, if Michael can't end him and Ross just has the cards he needs, he could Tool Scrapper and Black Ballista for his last 2 prizes on Darkrai if Michael chooses the Night Spear again on his coming turn, but maybe he might try to pull something with Absol, seeing that coming in advance. So let's see what happens. Definitely really good game. Both of these games have been good. But all right, here it is. A Skyla. Does he have the second Tool Scrapper? Is it in his deck? And does he have like the other Kyurem and Energy Retrieval in his hand? Let's see it. No? Well, an Ultra Ball. So let's see what that gets. See Ross play a supporter for his turn, grabbing Ultra Ball, discarding another Squirtle, and a Tropical Beach. So he's going to search his deck for a Pokemon. If there's a Kyurem in there, I would definitely see it. And I saw a catcher in Ross's deck, so he played. We do know. You guys told me in chat, but now I've seen it. He plays at least one catcher, so that could end up being big. But here's the Kyurem, and let's see what happens. He might have the Tool Scrapper prize, but if he's able to take it, he would have a 50-50 shot, and then all he needs to do is Tool Scrapper and use Black Ballista one more time. So if you're Michael, you definitely want an N right now. An N in like a Burbank City to get rid of the Tropical Beach would be huge. So let's see. Let's see what random receiver gets him. Ooh, that's big. Ross knows every card that is left in Michael's deck, and there happens to be no supporters. So I don't know Michael's hand. So he might just have the N or the Juniper in his hand anyways. But wow, Ross has seen every card that's left in Michael's deck outside of his hand. So that's knowledge. And Dylan and Twitch here done. I believe Santiago has won. I believe Santiago Rodriguez has beat Dylan Bryan, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll confirm on that when I can. But the other top four has finished. I will confirm as soon as I can. But let's get back to this game. So wants the Tool Scrapper and Superior Energy Retrieval, but I'm not sure. Oh, let's see. We see an Absol and a Dark Claw. So let's see how much damage Absol is doing right now. Absol would be doing uh, 40, 60, 80. So with a laser and an energy, he would be knocking out um, the Keldeo. And look, I think he has it. I think he grabbed the laser. So I think Absol is doing enough to knock out that Keldeo, which is huge. That'll definitely put Ross in a poor position. So let's see what happens. And with a Night Spear ready to go, this game all really depends on when Ross has his next Tool Scrapper. But let's see what happens. Um, we're gonna see Absol use Mind Jack, but first a few other things need to happen. And remember, I think we're only doing 60-minute top cut, a best 2 out of 3. So this game is going long, and so there might not be a lot of time for the third game. So if Ross wins, and if Pram loses, it's definitely going to be going through both of their heads. But this game is definitely not over yet either, so we'll need to finish it before we continue. And we see the Absol come active, and I believe it's doing just enough damage with the Hypnotoxic Laser to knock out Keldeo with 7 energy, and now Ross is left with just Blastoise, Keldeo, and the Kyurem. So let's see. I mean, it all just depends on where that Tool Scrapper is. Hypothetically, if Ross just has enough energies between like two superior energy retrievals, he has enough to Secret Sword and put enough energy on the Kyurem to Black Ballista, whatever comes active afterwards. So it really just depends on if he has a Tool Scrapper, I think. But let's see what happens. Ross is counting his deck, seeing how many cards are left. He probably knows exactly what's left, so he's just trying to figure out if he can Juniper now or something along those lines. But uh, is his Tool Scrapper still prized? I really don't know. So there's an energy search, so Ross is going to know what's in his deck. It's an energy search, so he's going to be able to get an energy with it too. So yeah, that's something interesting I see you guys pointing out in the chat. If the Tool Scrapper is in fact in his deck, and we see that catcher, he could just play the Scrapper, draw the catcher, hit heads, and win the game. But I'm trying to tell. I can't really see it in his hand. I feel like we would have seen it by now if he had it. So part of me really thinks it's still prized. So there's a manual water, manually attaching the water from his hand because he's still unable to use Blastoise's Deluge, and a Colress. So this is going to be huge. Colress is going to draw 7 cards. And Ross knows his deck, and it's getting pretty thin, so he's going to draw most of his deck right now. And the catcher is going to be huge. And if the Tool Scrapper is still in the deck, that'll also be very big. So let's see. I don't know if Ross doesn't. The catcher is a wild card for sure. But if the Tool Scrapper, if he doesn't draw it, or if it isn't in his deck, I really don't know what he's gonna do. But here's 7. Let's see what he gets. Hmm. Thinking, thinking. What does he have? What did he draw? Hmm. Yeah, that's very interesting. I'm surprised to see Ross play a catcher, but it's a very good card. I wonder if he plays more than one, but we definitely saw one. So let's see what he drew. Man, this is such a good game. It really just might be over if there's no oh, is that a tool scrapper? I think I see it in his hand. I think I see the tool scrapper in his hand. So, oh man, but I don't know if I saw the catcher. This is gonna be big. I think he's thinking about a superior energy retrieval right now. And so if that's the case, he could put 3 energies on the Keldeo and 2 energies on the Kyurem. Secret Sword, the Absol, and then just like threaten the Black Ballista to knock out any Pokemon, any of Pramawat's Pokemon on the next turn. But with a Dark Claw, a Laser, and Burbank City Gym, he would be able to knock out the Keldeo. So that could be a little too risky. There it is. There's Superior Energy Retrieval. Does he have the catcher, or is he going to do something else? Is he going to attack with a different Pokemon this turn? So, see him grab the energy. Let's see what happens. Man. So no one has run over and told me the results of the other top 4. So I apologize for that, but based on the reactions I was seeing, I do believe that Santiago Rodriguez with Rayquaza Ember was able to beat Dylan Bryan's Dragonite deck. But again, don't quote me on it because I could be wrong. So let's see what Ross is up to now. Trying to decide what he wants to do with these energy cards. Hmm. So yeah, so we saw Ross before the Colress attach a water, so that lightning isn't going to be able to be attached this turn. So, but we saw him get 3 water with superior energy retrieval, so he's got 3 other attachments with Deluge at his disposal, and maybe he's got another superior. Yes, that's what it looks like. Here's another superior, surely grabbing 3 to 4 water, really whatever's left in his discard. So that's good. That's going to be at least 6 energy. Yeah. So he's got 7 waters at his disposal right now. That's big. And he might just put them all on Kyurem. Does he have enough to put them all on Kyurem and just Black Ballista twice? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. I think he does. Oh man. I think that might be it. I think that might be it for Michael. Wow. What a turn for Ross. So I don't like we saw Michael discard uh 2 catcher last turn. So I don't think he has any catcher left. So he won't be able to bring up the Keldeo or bring up the Blastoise to solve for time. So I think we might be going into game 3. But let's see what Michael does. He doesn't have Garbotoxin. Garbodor doesn't have a tool. So he's able to use Dark Claw. So Sableye comes active. And I think Michael may only have 1 card in his deck. So he won't really be able to play anything. He only has what's in his hand at his disposal. So options are limited here. And Ross only needs to take 1 more prize. So, and Michael seems to be in a corner. Ross's double superior energy retrieval really seemed like a checkmate kind of move, but uh, stranger things have happened. Let's see what happens. Dowsing machine. Does he dowsing machine for catcher here? Is that his only play? That could be huge. That could be absolutely huge. What does he get? Dowsing machine. Yep, that's it. This is his play. Dowsing machine for catcher. I don't know. Let's see. Coin flip. Heads. Bring up Blastoise. Does he have the tool to go with it Does he have the tool and will he do something like try to deck Ross out? Well, never mind. He can't do that. Pram, I think, only has one card in his deck. So what does this mean? I think this means that Pram, he's just got to pray. He's just got to pray that, uh, I mean, if he doesn't have the tool, the game is over. But if he does have the tool and is able to turn Garbotoxin back online, he's just going to probably sit here and junk hunt for as long as he can and try to set up a game-winning play involving another catcher on the Keldeo X for coming turns. No, I don't think he has the tool, so I think he's perhaps just playing this turn out to try to give as little time in the next game as possible. Nope, he did. There's a Silver Mirror, so Garbotoxin is back online. And an N. I can't really tell how many cards. Pram's deck is low, but now Enning will probably put more cards back in it, and Ross will only be getting one card. However, there is Tropical Beach in play, so even if Ross does draws a blank off this N, he just uses Tropical Beach and fills his hand, assuming it means that he doesn't deck out. All right, looks like Santiago's behind me. Let me see. You want? Yeah. Yeah. All right, so there we have it. Santiago Rodriguez did beat Dylan Bryan, so we'll be it's good. So we will be able to stream the finals, and we have a Rayquaza Emboar deck in the finals, and whoever ends up taking this series will be playing against our good friend Santiago, known as Twitchy by some in the finals. So there's a laser, and I think Ross probably just uses Tropical Beach right now to end his turn. So let's see what happens. Maybe time is called? I'm not sure. Ross is asking something to the judge right now. Judge, they're talking, and oh, maybe time was called. Maybe time was called. Maybe the game. I'm not really sure. So Ross did take more than 4 prizes, so I believe that means the game counts. I I think they might have changed the rules. I don't actually know. So they may be setting up for a sudden death right now, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens. They're still shuffling, so I think that's right. I think we're about to see a sudden death to see who goes to the finals of Virginia Regionals. And while they shuffle, I just want to give a reminder that we are on the bubble. We have a weekly show at twitch.tv/on the bubble, and we are proudly sponsored by Jimmy Ballard and the great people at Top Cut Central. It's one of the best stores out there. We buy and sell bulk singles. They run events. All that good stuff. So I mean, shameless plug here, but give some love to our sponsor. And so I believe we're going into a one prize sudden death. So this could be pretty fun. N. They both play, I think, 4 N. So I mean, an N is just huge. But so is Tropical Beach, and I know. I mean, Ross may have some history with these sudden death games. We remember if you'll remember back to Worlds 2011, his finals against David Cohen ended up coming down to a sudden death. So we might see something like that here, and maybe Ross will get the best of it, but we'll just have to see. I think it's one prize, but I'll just have to see. Yeah, for those in the chat who haven't heard me yet, Santiago or Twitchy beat Dylan Bryan is in the finals with Rayquaza Emboar. So, and here we go. Looks like the last game's gonna start. Shuffling still, and I'm not actually sure on the rules here either. Do they flip, or does Pramawat get to choose who goes first? I'm not sure. It used to be a flip, I believe. Oh, I think it is. It's a flip once again. And I have no idea who won it, but let's see what we have here. Are they going to set out one prize or 6? Looks like Pram might be sitting on a mulligan. Yes. There we go. There's a mulligan. Is it 1? Yes. Ooh. This is going to be fun. You guys are in for a treat. 1 prize sudden death. So, I mean, I think Ross really has the advantage in 1 prize, but If someone plays an N without Tropical Beach being in play, I have no idea what's gonna happen. So we'll see. I don't know who won the coin flip, and that could really determine a lot as well. But one prize sudden death is definitely something we don't get to see that often. So I'm glad we're here to capture it between these two great players. Ross Cawthon, definitely a contender for greatest all time, and Mike Pramawat, our one of our heroes. He may or may not have been like just absolutely robbed out of a world championship, and just consistently does well. And all right, I believe Ross won the flip, and I think he has a Squirtle active to no, never mind. I apologize. Michael won the flip and has a Trubbish and Darkrai to a Squirtle. So I mean, Garbotoxin is cute. It's going to be nice, but I think the priority for Michael right now is a Night Spear. He wants to Night Spear as fast as possible. So, um, not sure what that was. I think some cards may have fallen off the table. A judge went and picked them up. So we saw a random receiver for a supporter. Ooh, does he? Oh, that's huge. Oh my gosh, absolutely huge. Tools and an N. Oh my gosh. So he had the laser and the Burbank, and Ross only has a Squirtle, and he's only going to draw one card from the N and one card from his turn. And if he doesn't draw a Pokemon or a supporter, the game is over. So this might be a very quick one prize sudden death, but let's see what happens. Very scary if you're in Ross's shoes, but probably feeling pretty good if you're Pramawat. So let's see what happens. Ooh. I mean, I'm not even playing the game and my heart's racing right now, so I really have no idea what these players are feeling. It must be, ooh, frightening, to say the least, especially if you're Ross. So let's see it. Each get one card. Oh my gosh, even better for Michael. Gets a bike. Draws four cards. The sun, running as hot as he possibly can. Energy for turn on Darkrai. And here we go. Did Ross draw a supporter, a beach, or a Pokemon? Squirtle wakes up. Let's see what it is. What do we have? What do we have? Ooh, that's big. What's the other card? So the game is. Oh, oh my gosh. This game just keeps getting even better and better. Oh wow. So basically, Ross into one, into um. I don't really think you could ask for anything better. I mean, maybe the Juniper instead of the beach, and then you draw into the beach. Oof. So Michael probably wants to hit N here. I'm not sure. But I mean, we know that Michael plays catcher, so if Michael can get some more darkness energy on the Darkrai and catcher the Squirtle, he'll be able to Night Spirit for the knockout. But he also getting Garbodor into play would be very big as well. Just very very interesting best of one or one prize sudden death, excuse me. So we see the Juniper, we see a catcher, discard. Does he get the dark? Oh, he does. So there it is. If he gets a catcher, if that catcher is heads, we see the game end as well. This is very exciting. Here it is. There it is. Game. Michael Pramawat will defeats Ross Cawthon and will advance to the finals against Santiago Rodriguez. So our finals officially is Darkrai Garbodor versus Rayquaza Emboar. So what a good what a good series, and we see a nice handshake, and that was pretty incredible. Both players could have drawn just like nothing off that end, and both got pretty good starts. So very interesting, and I'm not sure if I'll be back for the finals, but we will definitely be streaming it since I believe both Michael and Santiago are willing to go on stream. So I am Britt here with On the Bubble and Top Cut Central, and I'm signing out. We will be back shortly to give you the finals of Virginia Regionals. So I will talk to you soon.